Fans, at this time, we'd like to ask you to rise if you are able and remove your hats. It's time now to honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Fans, we'd like to begin tonight by acknowledging that we gather today on the ancestral homelands of the Coast Salish peoples who have lived in the Salish Sea Basin throughout the San Juan Islands and the North Cascades watershed from time immemorial. Please join us in expressing our deepest respect and gratitude for our indigenous neighbors, the Lummi Nation and Nooksack tribe, for their enduring care and protection of our shared lands and waterways. Now let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's contest. First, the visitors from Hawai'i Pacific. At forward, a 6'7" senior 0, Mai Dushinishet. At guard, a 6'4" sophomore, number 1, Milo Sanchez. At guard, a 6'1" junior, number 2, Diggy Winbush. At center, a 7'4" senior, number 22, Matt Van Komen. And at forward, a 6'5" junior, number 23, Josh Nosulu. Seattle Hawai'i Pacific is coached by Jesse Nakanishi. Coach Kanishi is assisted by Patrick Frost, Cameron Flabel, and Lyle Sutton. Viking fans, are you ready? Man, it's time now to meet the starting lineup for your Vikings. At guard, a 6'4" junior, number 1, KJ Kai Johnson. At forward, a 6'9" senior, number 13, Jonathan Ness. At forward, a 6'9" junior, number 20, Nick Velp. At forward, a 6'8" senior, number 22, Darius Gary. And at guard, a 6'4" junior, number 44, Will Wilson. Your Vikings, they're coached by Tony Dominguez. He is assisted by A.J. Albritton and Bob Hofstetter, along with Otavio Jude. Sixth man, it's game time.
Good evening and welcome to Carver Gymnasium, your men's basketball team tipping off their season at home. They've been on the road. They're 4-1. They come into Carver Gymnasium taking on the Hawai'i Pacific Sharks. Zen Hill joined alongside Butch Kamena for this one, bringing you men's basketball for the first time this year at Western Washington University. Butch, what do we got tonight?
Well, we get to see an exciting Viking team that's off to a 4-1 start, averaging 87 points a game. Should be a fun one.
The Sharks win the tip, and Hawai'i Pacific is on offense first. Handling the ball for them is Dominique Diggy Winbush. Winbush calling from the screen from Van Komen. Pick and roll, picks it outside. Dushanic handling it, gives it down low. Backing down, Matt Van Komen, guarded by Nick Velp, up with the right hand, and good.
Matt Van Komen, 7'4". He's been at St. Mary's, he's been at Utah, and now completing his career here, and he can go over people pretty clearly.
We're going to see how the Vikings can match up. Vikings' tallest player on the roster, Nick Velp, has the assignment as Velp pulls up from range, misses it, rebounded by Van Komen. Vikings fail to convert on their first offensive attack, and now the Sharks back on offense. Winbush handling once again down the court. Dushanic hands it off on the wing now. Nusalu. There's a screen. Winbush from three. Got it. And a three-point bomb from Winbush to give the Sharks a 5-point lead over the Vikings. Vikings without B.J. Colley tonight. Out with a sickness. One of our best players, one of our best starters, and a presence down low. Vikings will miss that for sure. Kai Johnson stuck in the corner, gives it outside. Darius Gary slotted into the starting lineup role tonight. Coming off the bench, our sixth man, Ned from the mid-range. No good off the right side. Rebounded by Nusalu. And Hawai'i Pacific has a chance to go up big early in the first here. A drive from Winbush, topped up. Van Komen grabs it off the right side of the board. No good. Ned is fighting for it, out of bounds. It'll go to the Sharks' side. Hawai'i Pacific 0-2 on the year, have lost their first two regular season games against Alaska Fairbanks and Anchorage this season. Nusalu backing down now, Dushanic. Gary is guarding, there's a drop step, we're denied by Darius Gary, rebound by Will Wilson. Vikings transitioning in the offense, Wilson handling it. Gary in the corner, pulls up from three, too short on it.
Cold start for Western.
Vikings have shot it extremely well this season, shooting 50% as a team, 41% from three coming into this one. Yet to get a basket tonight, down 5 still. In this first half, driving down the lane, Melo Sanchez misses. Ball tipped out of bounds, and it'll go to the Vikings.
Missing B.J. Colley, 12 points a game, 4.5 rebounds a game. But there's plenty of firepower, although turnover here.
Fast break now for the Sharks. Inside, Sanchez goes into net, rolls it around the rim and out. Nick Velp bouncing it up in the air. Rebounded, though, by the Sharks. Mid-range from Winbush. Got it. And a 7-point lead is going to cause an early timeout from the Vikings side. Western Washington looking to get rolling, down 7-0 when we come back on Vikings TV. Welcome back here to Carver Gymnasium, where your Vikings have started slow. Out of the timeout now, will try and find their first basket of the game. Vikings on offense here, down 7-0 against the Hawai'i Pacific Sharks without a win this season. Nick Velp down low for the Vikes, hands it off. Jonathan Ned with a floater over the tall 7'4".
Nice little feed by Nick Velp, getting on the baseline, finding John Ned in the paint for the easy little two.
Jonathan Ned, 10 points per game this season so far through the first 5 games by the Vikings. Tried to find a backdoor cutter there, and it is kicked. It'll go down to the baseline. So on the baseline, inbounding will be Winbush.
White try the quick lob here. Nope.
Outside, Melo Sanchez, good head fake. Now a floater is short on it, but a foul on the floor, and he'll go to the free throw line. Penalty goes on Kai Johnson. And to the line will go Melo Sanchez.
Melo Sanchez, a 6'4" sophomore from San Diego, the leading scorer for Hawai'i Pacific last year, or the second leading scorer, leading returning scorer. Averaged about 14.5 points a game last year, shot 46.8% from three-point range.
All right.
And we got the Ziggy on him. He missed the first free throw.
Not even just that. His first missed free throw of the year, Butch.
Oh.
He was 12 for 12 coming into this one. I didn't say anything
and
about
he
it.
Missed them
He
both.
goes over 2. Fails to convert. Vikings in transition. Good pass develop into the corner. Gary for 3. Got it.
That is his game. Corner threes. Quick release at 6'8". You're going to have trouble blocking it. If he can get spotted up, he knocks a lot of those down.
A beautiful 1-2-3. Kai Johnson developing a good kick to Darius Gary. Vikings' first 3-point shot. Down low, Dusanich up and through the contact. Dusanich last year led the Sharks in blocks. Converts on offense that time. 4-point lead. Vikings 4-3. Good from Nick Velp, the stretch big.
Yeah, and so clearly one of the things that the Vikings can do against Vancouver is Nick Velp is a good perimeter shooter. So drag him out away from the basket, force him to guard Nick Velp on the perimeter.
Vikings now just trailing by 1 after that 3-point jump shot. Back-to-back threes. Nasulu answers from downtown, and a 3-point shot for Josh Nasulu. Good job by the Sharks to answer. Vikings go quick. Kai Johnson into the contact and 1.
Maybe not over the 7-4 Van Conen, but through him.
Through him, and that's all that matters. He's got a chance at 3. So immediate timeout on the floor. Your Vikings down 10-12. Coming back with a free throw attempt from KJ.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
The Teaching and Learning Academy is an organization that's housed in the library, and it's where people come to have conversations.
They deal with serious issues that have emotional impact in ways that are typically not found in a class.
We've talked about diversity and inclusivity on our campus and in our community.
It not only enriches my education, but also impacts the ways that I can continue my leadership roles.
Welcome back to Vikings basketball. You can see here Darius Gary, the 3-point jump shot. Last season was known for his fire off the bench from downtown shot, 53% from the field and 55% from 3. This year, it's been a rough start for him in his 18 minutes now that he's had. He's only shooting 25 from downtown and 31% from the field, but gets a 3-point there, slotted into the starting role with no B.J. Colley tonight.
Still a small sample size. Darius Gary, you can tell by his stroke, and you can tell by the way he played in a couple of the preseason games. He's going to score. It'll come.
Kai Johnson buries the free throw, so the and 1 converts for him, a 3-point play. And the Vikings back to trailing by 1 here. Sharks handle it. Diggy Winbush from downtown for the Sharks, and he got it. Hot shooting for Hawai'i Pacific to start this one.
Diggy.
It's a good nickname.
Yeah, it works.
It's catchy at least.
It's simple.
How about this? KJ, even more simpler. Switches it outside. Nick Velp down the left side. Pulls up from the mid-range, and he got it. Nick Velp, 5 points on the game for the Vikings now.
Nick Velp looks like a small guard against Van Conen, doesn't he?
He does. Gets it over, and I think maybe got a piece of that, but instead it'll be a block. He wanted that block on the 7-4 Van Komen. Nick Velp picks up the foul, and it'll send Matt Van Komen to the line.
You mentioned Sanchez being 12 for 12. Mr. Van Komen is 4 for 4.
We jinxed him last time.
So 7-4, played a year at Utah. His first career game there, a 4-star recruit from Leahy, just outside Provo, and we got him. 12 points in his first career game against Mississippi Valley, then transferred, spent 3 years at St. Mary's, which is an absolute assembly line of big centers, Jock Landale and all those other guys that they have rolled through. So you know that having played for Randy Bennett at St. Mary's, he's going to be really sound. He's got a great background. He's been coached well.
So far this season, 10 points per game with 7 rebounds. Velp from downtown, back rim, rebounded by Mello. Mello Sanchez gives it to Iggy Winbush. Hawai'i Pacific up 3, 16-13 here. Under 15 now in the first half. Dushanic handling it for the Sharks, looking for a backdoor cut. Vikings with some good defense there. Up top to Winbush, drives into Velp, gives it outside. Sanchez from downtown, too long on it. Kai Johnson tips it out of the hands, out of bounds. They're going to call it to the Sharks side. And a substitution for Hawai'i Pacific as they bring in Tyrese Terrell, as well as Tucker Palici.
So yeah, they go small. They go from 7-4 to 6-11 in the post here.
Tyrese Terrell as well on for the Sharks. D1 transfer out of Nicholas State University. High post, Dushanic driving, guarded by Kai Johnson. Backing him down, Dushanic up through the contact, rolls away. Nick Velp with the board, gives it up to Will Wilson. Vikings outlet pass up to Jonathan Ned, rising for the slam.
And we see why the Vikings are averaging 87 points a game. Getting out quickly in transition. And that early look with the dunk of Jonathan Ned.
A fast team despite losing some guards that we had last year. This team has grown in size, have not let up in speed though. Winbush outside, Mello Sanchez from deep. Back rim on it, Velp with a box out, and a reach over called on the over the back, Tucker Paletti. So now checking in for your Vikings is Tijon Sane, as Will Wilson will sit down. Sane so far this year, averaging 12 points per game off the bench. Redshirt freshman providing some nice spark. Vikings trail by 1. Johnson, a pick and pop to Velp. Takes a jab, takes a 3. Too short on it, rebounded by Dushanic. Sane picking up Cordell Ing, newly checked on for the Sharks. Gets a screen, Ing on the roll down now. Paletti up and over Velp, but a foul on the floor. And that one's going to be on Nick Velp, so now his second personal.
It was interesting watching the pregame when one of the Hawaii assistant coaches on the floor simulating pick and roll action and throwing balls to their posts. And I don't recall seeing that here, maybe somewhere else, but it's kind of interesting just how critical to what they do that it was that they actually were preparing that in the pregame.
Now on for the Vikings is Isaac Morrow with Nick Velp with 2 personal fouls on him. They're going to be looking for Nick Velp to be their main go-to big man tonight with no B.J. Colley, so getting him in early foul trouble, not a good sign for the Vikings, a tall Hawai'i Pacific team down low. Now to a 3-point lead for the Sharks. Vikings now on their side. Tijon Sane handling it on the perimeter. Isaac Morrow hands off Kai Johnson out on the left wing. Johnson driving to his left, mid-range pull-up jump shot. Too short on it, rebounded by Sanchez. Sanchez turns into transition, guarded by Darius Gary. Gets a screen. Dushanic, jab step. Hands it back to Sanchez. Sanchez in the mid-range, pulls it back out. 15 on the shot clock. Driving in, up for the layup, and good is Dushanic. Hawai'i Pacific gets a bucket down low, and they lead by 5. Vikings going fast on offense. Ned from the mid-range tried to throw out of it. Tijon Sane has to run into it. Vikings will reset now. Vikings shooting it well. Both teams over 50% in this one. Early on, Darius Gary now driving with his left. Morrow down low. 2 men on him. Gets the ball tipped. Puts it up, and they're going to get a jump ball. Right call on the floor. Vikings will keep possession here. Off the jump ball, possession arrow. You can see the good effort by Mello Sanchez came flying in. Forced that jump ball, and now Will Wilson will recheck in for the Vikings. Darius Gary will sit down. 6 on the shot clock for the Vikings off the inbound pass. They give it to Ned in the corner. Ned with 3. Up top, Wilson fumbled it. Got to get a shot up here, 2 and 1. He didn't get it off.
No, he bobbled the catch, and then he was forced to put the ball on the floor.
That one mishap costing the Vikings a possession there. So now Cordell Ing for the Sharks dribbles it down. Up 5 with 12:20. Ing on the outside, loses his dribble. Has to give it into the corner to Tyrese Terrell. Pick and roll, down low, Ing. Plenty of Vikings there. Out up top, Nusalu, too short, rebounded by Ned. Ned turning and running. Vikings trying to get fast in transition. Ned will stop, give it back to Sane. Back over to Ned from the top of the key. Off to the right. Jonathan Ned does not connect.
A bit of a contested look.
Didn't necessarily have to rush that one.
The Vikings are wanting to play quickly. It's not completely out of character, but maybe just not the best look on that occasion.
Jonathan Ned's been feeling himself this year, leading the team in 3-pointers. That one's missed. Will Wilson with the rebound. Wilson handling it. Pull up, mid-range jump shot is good. Will Wilson with the bucket.
It is a feature of what he does, that mid-range game that we don't see as prevalent as we did many years ago, but Will Wilson's got it. That 15 to 17-foot shot is deadly.
He knows how to get buckets. 27.1 points last season from Mount Hood Community College. Mid-ranger is good from the big man, Palechi.
Yeah. Don't call it a jumper. He did not
didn't
leave
jump
the
at all.
floor, but it was a mid-ranger.
He's got that set shot.
It was very nice.
Vikings swinging around on the perimeter. Sane handling it, puts a move on, goes to his left, inside with the left denied by Palechi. Two-way plays from the big man down low, and immediate timeout on the floor. It'll be Vikings ball when we come back.
I would summarize my experience at Western as I was a guarded, nerdy kid who loved to perform, who allowed herself to put in the time and the effort to carve herself into something.
Jump in the trunk, jump in the trunk,
And whatever that was has led me to where I am right now, to be a fully realized woman. And I'm really thankful for the time and the effort that I put in for myself, because if I didn't do it, no one else was going to.
Compass to Campus is a beautiful reciprocal relationship that's really centered on how to support young students to see themselves in a different kind of way and see the possibilities for their future.
Allie was one of our first mentors. A lot of people have believed in me along the way, Allie being one of them. She's always inspired me. Now I'm at Western actually going to college.
It's changing lives for the young students that we work with, and it's changing lives for the mentors who work with them.
Welcome back to Carver Gymnasium. Your Vikings still trailing by 5 points in the first half here against Hawai'i Pacific. Vikings will have the ball on their side out of the timeout. So far, both teams shooting it very well still. Vikings over 43%. Hawai'i Pacific, who has struggled from the field, shooting a great 47%. They've also drained 3 of their 6 3-pointers. In for the Vikings, Grant Holiday comes off the bench. Louis Grant Holiday, one of the additions to this Vikings team. Will Wilson from the mid-range.
As we said.
Tough bucket.
It's a little bit like DeMar DeRozan.
Mid-range killer.
Oh.
Wilson with his second bucket tonight. Got the lead to 3. Hawai'i Pacific on the corner with Terrell. Terrell gives it over. Newly checked in, Ethan Toff. Into the corner, driving is Ing. Sane is there. Hawai'i Pacific, 7 on the shot clock. Outside, Terrell from deep. Got it. Their three-point shooting is on fire tonight against the Vikings. Just last game against Alaska Anchorage, Hawai'i Pacific shot 11% from 3. Not the case tonight. Vikings look to answer here, down 6. Johnson inside, spinning, fadeaway mid-ranger, rolls out of the rim and rebounded by Palechi. Ing with a deep transition pass to Terrell. Terrell down low. This one shot up by Nusalu. Rimmed out, Morrow with a board. Vikings turn, Kai Johnson handling it. Behind the back, Puts his back to the basket, kicks outside to Sain. Tijan Sain resetting for the Vikings on offense, calling for a screen from Morrow. Goes to his left. Sain looking for a pass. Needs a teammate. Wilson is there. Wilson thought about a deep three, drives in, puts it up with the right hand, missed. Morrow and Wilson fighting for it, but it's handled by Pelechi. Hawai'i Pacific now in transition. Size mismatch down there on the left side. Nusulu tried to take advantage of it, but a foul was called first. So Tijan Sain eats that foul. Hawai'i Pacific just a little bit too eager to get back on the court here. And now they're allowed to.
Yeah, there were a couple guys on the floor before anybody had waved anybody in.
Jonathan Ned back in for your Vikings. Matt Van Komen back on for the Sharks, as well as Dominique Winbush. Sharks 21 on the shot clock. They get it into the corner to Taff. Taff working on Holiday. Taff outside has to give it to Winbush. Down to 10 on the shot clock, under 9 minutes on the game clock.
Another high screen.
Winbush from the mid-range, double pump, and a foul is called on the floor.
It was late, but it was probably right.
So they got him on the elbow. We'll see here. I think it goes on Sain as well.
Diggy Winbush the benefit of the doubt that, yeah, there's a slap, that he was not going to miss that thing by 3 feet.
So Sain picks up his second personal off the bench. He tried to play it off. You know, he saw the contact and immediately moved off.
Diggy Winbush came in only averaging 4.5 in the first 2 games, but he's already up to 9 points. Hasn't missed a shot yet. 3 for 3 from the field, including a pair of trays. And now shooting his second free throw here. And we are on fire tonight.
Missed free throw right there. He goes 1 for 2. Kai Johnson in fast transition up for the layup. He just did it again.
For the second time tonight. Just take the ball.
Took it into his own hands and finished. He had an and one, and he converted last time.
The runaway train. I dare you to get in front of me.
What a season Kai Johnson is off to already. Averaging 20.4 points for this Vikings team, the reigning GNAC Player of the Week. He was, of course, going to be looked at as our starting and go-to guard with Daniel Hornbuckle and D'Angelo Minnis moving on, and he has stepped into that role perfectly.
Yeah, up to 6 points on a pair of those.
Down low, Van Komen gets fouled before the basket, and no, excuse me.
Pushed off on the seal.
So they turn it over. Vikings down 4 here, 8:39 left in our first half.
We have a fashionably late crowd tonight. When
you are incredibly correct on that.
When at tip-off, there were maybe 3 rows of students over there, right?
Yep.
And the lower section is directly across from us is just about filled up now.
Free tickets for all Western students this year. Jonathan Ned from downtown rebounded off the miss. Winbush, he turns in transition. Guarded by Darius Gary back into the game for the Vikings. Holiday switches onto him. Vikings answering back and forth to these high screens. Sanchez, high post. Van Komen fumbled it. Winbush thought about a shot, has to throw it off his own teammate. And Winbush resettles. 9 on the shot clock for the Sharks. Up top for Winbush. Driving right. Gets fouled by Kai Johnson. And he will go to the line now.
Hawai'i Pacific coach Jesse Nakanishi is first-year coach, all the way out to midcourt, calling Melo Sanchez over, and then you see the foul. We've got, let's see here, it is there's a timeout because we've run exactly 8.
It's important that what I do as a job is something that I find meaningful. I ended up applying to the cybersecurity program at Western. The aspects of the program that really stand out to me is the hands-on experience.
Being able to work interdisciplinary and bring cybersecurity to marine science, bring it to communications, bring it to everything, is what really makes it interesting.
Welcome back to the home opener of the Vikings season. So far, hasn't been off to a hot start, but a close game. It's going to be fun between Hawai'i Pacific and the Vikings. Hawaii up by 4 in this one. Ball on their side out of the media timeout. It'll be free throws for Dominique Winbush, transfer out of Shabbat College. Last year averaged 13 points for that team. He's one of the many transfers added to this Hawai'i Pacific team this year.
Hawai'i Pacific shooting 47% from the field, including 4 of 7 from three-point range. Diggy Winbush from LA, and then went north to the Bay Area to Chabot Junior College. I think that's in Oakland.
Buries the first free throw there. The leading scorer for the Sharks has a chance to hit double figures here in the first half. And he does there. 10 points for Diggy Winbush. And the Vikings trailing it now by 6. Kai Johnson handling it on the outside. He's leading the Vikings with 6 points tonight. Will Wilson fumbled the pass, now into the mid-range, step back from it, off the front of the rim and missed. Rebounded by the Sharks. Turned into transition by Winbush.
Rather slow transition.
Screen set right there, Ned on the switch. Size mismatch down low. They can't get it, though, to Van Komen. Good defense. Will Wilson switches back outside now. Winbush inside with the right hand. Misses it. Rebounded by Holiday. Pushes it up to Kai Johnson. Johnson crosses over. Inside, up through contact, and on a block, he'll go to the line. Kai Johnson pushing straight into the defense in transition over and over again.
Get the look, and A, Ethan Taft's foot is on the line, and B, he never really got established either. He was backing away the whole time. Ethan Taft from Brisbane, Australia.
Johnson is now 3 for 3 from the line with that one as Liam Clark checks in for your Vikings. Louis Grant Holiday will sit down. Liam Clark now on the floor. Transfer last year from Clark College, redshirted in his junior year.
Kai Johnson, a quick 8 points, all of them on penetration from the right-hand side.
Nailed both free throws. Dušanich outside, guarded by Johnson. Sharks moving it around. Winbush outside, guarded by Ned. Step back, gives it out. Melo Sanchez from deep, misses on the back rim. Johnson fights for the rebound. Even 2-on-2 break here. Kai Johnson going to drive to the hoop, kick outside to Gary, and a charge this time. So Johnson got the call last time, but this time.
Taft didn't get there on the last trip, but Melo Sanchez did this time.
Arguing his side of the official. We'll see
that's
here.
That's key because that's the 3rd foul on Kai Johnson. Well, that's kind of interesting. He knocked both guys over.
So that'll force Kai Johnson to sit down now. Vikings in some foul trouble. 7 personal fouls distributed between 3 players, 2 of them being starters, and Nick Velp and now Kai Johnson.
You would not expect to see Kai Johnson the rest of the half here with that 3rd personal.
Which is a huge loss for the Vikings. He's been having a great start to this season through these 5 games. So a grand, going to get Grant Holiday there on a hold. Just trying to shut down the big man Van Komen. And
Sulu tried to throw a lob to Van Komen.
He almost made it on the pass,
and
too.
It nearly went in. It rimmed out. But then you'll see Grant Holiday trying to hold him off and committing a foul.
So they miss on the one-on-one attempt. Vikings just down by 4 here, despite some troubles early. Liam Clark handling it. Calling for a teammate, swings it out to Holiday. Wilson in the corner. Moving to his left, guarded by Melo Sanchez. Down low, gets through the arms, and he'll go to the line for 2.
We've talked about the height that Hawai'i Pacific has in the post. Look at the lineup the Vikings have out there. Will Wilson is the smallest guy at 6'4", and a thick 6'4". Darius Gary's 6'8". Jonathan Ned is 6'8". Liam Clark is 6'7".
The season as a whole is just a huge switch from what we're used to from seeing from the Vikings. The last couple of years, it's been 3 small guards, 1 decently sized forward, and then a bigger forward.
Right.
Now we're starting a legit 5-man lineup with 2 guards, small forwards, power forward, and a center.
When I watched them play in the tournament in Canada to open the season, they ran a play where they had 2 6'8" wings crossing on the baseline and popping out to the perimeter.
I think it's been a big thing for Jonathan Ned, too, who is used to playing as guard, as he steals the ball as well. 2-on-1 for the Vikings. Ned lobs it up. Clark! Oh, almost finished down with a showtime. Vikings still have it. Ned in the corner. Three-pointer.
He leads the break. He hits threes. He's a guard.
Jonathan Ned from downtown. So there's a timeout here. We're going to keep things here for this one. Vikings have now battled back to make it a 28-28 ball game, Butch.
Yeah, last 6 points and a 9-2 run overall. And they're getting out in transition. 12 fast break points to none right now. And you would not expect Hawai'i Pacific has played at a slower pace the first 2 games. They've got a couple big guys who are there trying to get involved. So you wouldn't expect them to run a lot. Western wants to get out and go. And right now that's been the difference in the last couple minutes here as we are level at 28.
Right now, fast break points 12-0 in the Vikings' favor. So exactly as you said, just running on this Sharks team, getting down the court quick and making efficient buckets with it. Even on that last play, although they had the numbers advantage, tried the lob pass to Clark, ended up with a good offensive board by the team, and then they somehow got a 3-ball out of it. Vikings now 3 for 9 from downtown.
A great kick out by Darius Gary after getting that rebound in traffic. Find Ned for the 3.
Jonathan Ned with 7 points for the Vikings. Down low, good pass. Nusalu guarded by Gary, and he comes.
Wow, very nice.
Falls
the old
over
school
him.
box play that you don't see as much anymore with all the teams trying to spread the floor, but they ran a box, a little screen, got a lay-in. Really nice stuff.
Josh Nusalu finished that one. Will Wilson for the Vikings on the right side. Driving kick to Gary. Gary will try a 3-pointer. Bounces around, cannot get it. Liam Clark fighting for an offensive board. And out of bounds it goes over to the Sharks side. Vikings showing a press here. Very casual here by Will Wilson. Liam Clark also jumped up there. Approaching 5 minutes remaining in this first half. Sharks swinging around. Nusalu with a jab step into the mid-range. Pulls up from the elbow and rolls it in.
The lefty, very nice. Going right and hitting the left-handed jumper near the elbow. That's a pretty move.
Hawai'i Pacific shooting over 45% now in this first half. And an offensive foul on Liam Clark.
Remember that really kicked in last year where there's been a point of emphasis on having to hold that screen and not releasing early. And he also just leaned right into him with the forearm, too. That would have been an offensive foul 10 years ago. So
yeah, nothing's changed to make that called today.
Our discussion is moot.
So now Hawai'i Pacific up 4, driving inside, and a putback from Van Komen.
He's 7-4.
Not much you can do about
that. And he got to the right spot. He sealed. He actually sealed to create the drive, which nice on the move, which put him in perfect position.
Ned from 3. His second tonight. 10 points for Jonathan Ned. Vikings down 3 now, and a foul on the court. Will Wilson on that one. So Jonathan Ned transferred to the Vikings last year. Averaged 9.9 a game. Is on pace to be around that. 10 points per game for this, but he is shooting it much better so far this season. As you see on that 3-point bomb last year, shot at 36% from the 3-point range. Now 50% with 13 made coming into this one. Now add 2 to that, he's got 15.
And maintaining the 50% pace at 2 for 4.
And I think the biggest part of that is last year we wanted him to play down low a little bit more, a bigger body, but now I think he's more free to be on that perimeter as we talked about earlier. Gary gives it to Clark. Clark driving inside with the left, puts it up for the layup and got it.
Very nice little move by Liam Clark.
I got to know Liam Clark a little bit in the spring. I worked with him at Intramurals. He refed some basketball games here at Western Washington.
You wouldn't want to argue with his calls.
No one tried. When you're looking at 6'7", I don't think anyone's calling nothing. Good bucket on the other side by the Sharks, Dushanic.
I've been known to be dumb enough to do that. But
Ned, heat check. Too short on it off 2 bounces. Rebounded by Dushanic. Vikings keeping it close here in this battle. These two teams had a close one last year. In mid-December played, it was a 1-point victory for the Vikings. Dushinic hands off Terrell. Ing on the outside. Cordell Ing down low. Dushinic spin move up with the right. No good. Tipped out of bounds. Vikings ball. As Isaac Morrow will check in, but not before we get this media timeout on the floor. Vikings trailing by 3 when we come back.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
The Teaching and Learning Academy is an organization that's housed in the library, and it's where people come to have conversations.
They deal with serious issues that have emotional impact in ways that are typically not found in a class.
We've talked about diversity and inclusivity on our campus and in our community.
It not only enriches my education, but also impacts the ways that I can continue my leadership roles.
Welcome back here. Liam Clark transfers from Clark College last year, averaging 15.6 before he transferred to Western Washington. Finally gets his first season after redshirting last year. Makes a bucket here in the home opener.
Yeah. Always good to have depth in the post. DJ Colley not here tonight. A little bit of foul trouble for Nick Phelps. You can never have enough people who can play in the post.
Isaac Morrow off that bench. Liam Clark as well. A lot of size for this Vikings team when you look to that bench. Vikings on offense down 3. Wilson swings it over. Jonathan Ned, step back, three-point jump shot. Just a bit off on that one. A very close basket. Defensive board by Terrell. And now the Sharks back on offense. Under 3 minutes here in our first half. Back and forth, the Vikings not able to grab a lead just yet. Down on the left side and back out to Ing. Gets a screen from his teammate. They get on the shot clock. Cordell Ing inside somehow gets that up.
Yeah, somehow is right. I mean,
looks like there's 3 hands on the ball before he twisted
guy
it.
Finishing with the left hand on the right-hand side.
Clark kicks it outside, but stolen and dropped out of bounds. Cordell Ing. So the Vikings save a turnover there on the lucky miss hit. Let's see this replay.
Move again. And
Clark gets a hand on that.
Kind of ducked under him, didn't he?
Using that 5'9" size to his advantage, I guess. Vikings with the ball, swinging around. Get it down low, Isaac Morrow. Looking for a kick out, and it's a turnover on a far pass. Vikings now their 5th turnover in the half to Hawai'i Pacific's just 2 turnovers.
Yeah, pretty clean half overall.
Hawai'i Pacific playing great. Shooting 50% from 3-ball and the field.
So now Tijon Sane in, and we get this rather interesting matchup of 2 sub-6-foot guards.
Dribble handoffs for Hawai'i Pacific on the outside. Dushinic looking for a teammate, 15 on the shot clock. Ying into the inside, back out to Dushinic. 9. Thrown up from 3 and got it from Josh Nisulu.
He's up to 10 points already.
The starting junior buries that one and puts it up to an 8-point lead now. Largest lead for Hawai'i Pacific. That one fumbled. Vikings turn it over again. Here are the Sharks in transition. Cordell Ing will settle even though they had numbers. Loses his dribble.
As we said, they're going to be patient. They did look. It wasn't there. They waited for everybody and set it up.
They get it inside. Pelechi working on Morrow. Looking for a fadeaway hook shot. And they call a travel on him instead. Shuffling the pivot foot there. As Melo Sanchez comes back in. Minute 13 left in this first half. Your Vikings had it close. Brought it to just within 2, but have fallen down now to 8.
Yeah, they've got almost 3 minutes without scoring here and allowing Hawai'i Pacific to reestablish a lead.
Vikings, a team that has put up a ton of points on great shooting. Of course, the averages are going to fall down, but here is Sane from downtown. Ooh. A deep three ball from the redshirt freshman.
And with a hand in his face, too.
His first baskets of the game. Puts up 3 for the Vikes, under a minute now in the first half. Diggy inside, outside. Dushinich being dared to shoot by Ned. He'll drive instead on him and pick up a foul and go to the line. That'll be Ned's first personal in this one.
Maj Dusinic from Slovenia. Played his high school ball in the Phoenix area at Dream City Christian. We could at some point rattle off all the great Slovenian basketball players. There are many. There's that guy in Dallas who's not bad. But,
I don't think I know who you're talking about.
No.
Must not have heard of his name before.
Well, maybe as we come out of a media timeout at some point, we'll rattle off a few great Slovenians.
Dusinic has been great tonight. 7 points with more to add with this free throw, but 3 rebounds and 5 assists as well.
Yep. The senior, lefty.
Doing it in every way. Under 40 now for the Vikings. Down by 7. Sane fakes a pass. Gives it over to Jonathan Ned on the wing. Gary driving down, kicks it back out. Sane swinging it. Will Wilson will try a three-point shot with a hand in his face and buries it. Will Wilson, 8 points for the Vikings in the first half.
Final shot of the half here, and we'll probably see another high pick and roll. They'll wait, but the question will be, it looks like they're going to bring Dusinic up, but maybe they'll bring Van Komen up instead.
Handoffs on the perimeter. Sanchez loses his dribble. Kicks it back outside. Three-point shot rims out and no good as the buzzer expires. Vikings trailing 43-39 at the half. We're going to get a halftime interview here on Vikings TV with Adam Race in just a moment.
Ready to go. Adam Race with AJ Albright. And AJ, what did you see in that first half that you want to see better in the second half from your team?
To the last few games we've been playing, we came out a little bit low energy. So picking up our energy, I think, would be key for us. We're a team that plays really good with energy. We play better on the floor, defensively and offensively. Offensively, we're getting good looks. We maybe took a few too many threes, but, I mean, there's shots that we can make. So we'll hopefully knock those down in the second half. And if we do that, I think we'll see a little bit of difference here.
How do you think the team has dealt with the size disadvantage at the center position in this game so far?
Yeah, being out our starting big and another big, they definitely have a size advantage. I think we're doing better than expected, but I think we could be a lot better. Obviously, they're big, and boxing out will be key. But again, if we hit some shots, I think we'll get energy going, and then we'll see a big difference in the second half.
Thank you, AJ.
Yeah.
We welcome you back out of the halftime break here at Western Washington University. Your Vikings trailing right now 39-43 to Hawai'i Pacific, but in that first half, Vikings showed some life. Butch, what did you see?
Interesting first half. Maybe as we look at the numbers here, the biggest thing we see is how well Hawai'i Pacific shot the ball. 50% from the field, 15-30, 50% from three, 5 of 10. The strange thing was about 50% from the line, 8 of 15. The Vikings shot 44% from the field, 14 of 32, 6 of 15 from three, 5 of 6 from the line. Individual scores for Hawai'i Pacific. Diggy Wimbush had 11, was 3 of 4 from the field. Josh Nasulu had 10, and Mai Dusanich had 8. And then for the Vikings, 10 for Jonathan Ned, 8 each for Kai Johnson and Will Wilson. Of course, Kai Johnson got those 8 points and then picked up a third foul and had to leave. So an interesting first half. Hawai'i Pacific led much of the half, not all of it, but now they have a 4-point lead. We'll have to see how this plays out in the second half. Obviously, Western getting Kai Johnson back will help. They've had to go through the half with tonight. They're playing tonight without B.J. Colley, a 12-point-a-game scorer and one of the leading returning scorers from last year. So a lot of different things to deal with. Your first home game, But we are poised for a tight second half, I think. I don't see a team pulling away here tonight. And the other fun thing has been the contrast in styles. Western looking to push, 12 fast break points, no fast break points for Hawai'i Pacific, and we really did see a couple times that they are looking to hold the play up. So back to our second half play-by-play. Here's Zen Hill.
Vikings will look to gain help in this half, as you mentioned, Kai Johnson, Nick Velp as well, who entered foul trouble early on. He had 5 points in just 6 minutes before not seeing the rest of the second half. So we'll see what the Vikings have in store. Only trailing by 4, have not led tonight against this 0-2 Hawai'i Pacific Sharks team. It was 80s night here at Western Washington. I don't know. You can kind of see.
Yes.
You'd be the one to say. I can't really.
No. Okay. So Haley over here in the blue has got the tight pants. If she had the shoulder pads and maybe permed up the hair a little bit, but that's the right look right there. That fits it. The late 80s look that
they were going
maybe the
for.
early 80s look some of the other people. Yeah, I was there. I remember some of it. Most of it even.
Back underway here in the second half. Sharks will have the ball first. It is the leading scorer handling it. Melo Sanchez on the outside gets it inside. Van Komen tries to put up a layup, gets denied by his own rim. Offensive board off a Vikings fumble, just a step around and gets it. At the half, you heard the Vikings talk about with Adam Race how they felt like they were doing a little bit better against this size than they thought they would, but right there, Van Komen gets the basket. Will Wilson driving to the left side, up and over Van Komen for the bucket on a double clutch.
He really did go over.
Oh, yeah.
We talked Kai Johnson went through earlier.
That's an over.
He went over the 7-4.
Wilson now with 8 tonight. Excuse me, he's up to 10 after that basket. Double figures for him to go along with 3 rebounds. High post, Van Komen gets his poke loose. Rebounded, or excuse me, kept alive by Winbush, and then put up for the layup is good on the right hand.
Like 9 points total in the first 2 games, but he's already up to 13 tonight.
Johnson spinning up for the layup.
If you can do it, I can do it. Not a problem.
10 points for Kai Johnson now.
The third Viking in double figures.
Back and forth so far out of this halftime break. Both teams going at it. Inside Van Komen, the lob is tipped by Velp. Kept alive. Kicked outside. Nusalu driving to the left. Mid-ranger is good over the hand of Will Wilson.
I'm impressed with his game. He finds creative ways to get good looks.
And he's shooting it great. 5 for 7 for 12 points. Velp on the outside. Got it tipped loose. No, he didn't. That's a travel.
Flew out, yeah. Tried the handoff. It popped out. They get it out. The crossover, the spin, the one-handed finish. Whole thing a piece of beauty there from Kai Johnson.
Vikings trail by 6 here. 2 minutes gone in the second half. Dushanic on the outside for the Sharks. Hands over to Nusalu. Melo Sanchez has been quiet tonight. Puts up that one, misses on the 3 ball. Van Komen just over Darius Gary.
He did not leave the floor. He just reached up, slapped the ball to himself.
Gary jumped about 3 times to try and get that board. Dushanic backing down on Johnson, going to the right with the hand. And a great finish down low through the power. Ned on the outside, quickly for the Vikings, spinning around, kicks it out. Velp thought about a 3. Gives it Johnson. Johnson on the left side. Pulling it back, driving in, left side. Right-handed layup is no good. Fought for Velp is there, but Melo Sanchez secures it. Hawai'i Pacific
can get a double-digit lead here.
It would be their biggest lead. Got it from the mid-range. Winbush. That's going to force a timeout from head coach Tony Dominguez from the Vikings side. So that'll be a full timeout on the floor, and we'll go to a break here on Vikings TV. Vikings trailing.
Compass to Campus is a beautiful reciprocal relationship that's really centered on how to support young students to see themselves in a different kind of way and see the possibilities for their future.
Allie was one of our first mentors. A lot of people have believed in me along the way, Allie being one of them. She's always inspired me. Now I'm at Western, actually going to college.
It's changing lives for the young students that we work with, and it's changing lives for the mentors who work with them.
It's important that what I do as a job is something that I find meaningful. I ended up applying to the cybersecurity program at Western. The aspects of the program that really stand out to me is the hands-on experience.
Being able to work interdisciplinary and bring cybersecurity to marine science, bring it to communications, bring it to everything, is what really makes it interesting.
Welcome back to Carver Gym. You see here Will Wilson finds a lot of ways to score, getting in deep, going over the top of the 7-4 center, and then Wimbush, who's having a great night with the drive and the scoop, helping Hawai'i Pacific to get out to a quick little burst here. 10-4 so far in this half, putting them up by the biggest lead of the night, 10 points. 53-43 with 17-12 to go. Back to the play-by-play with Zen Hill.
6-0 run for the Sharks right now. Forcing the timeout from Tony Dominguez. Vikings head coach in his 12th season, just hit 200 wins as a head coach. Here's Kai Johnson for the Vikings from 3. Hits off the front rim early in the shot clock. And now the Sharks will slow it down and get on their offensive set with Diggy Wimbush. Perimeter handoff. Sanchez hesitates, go to the left side. Working on Johnson, spin move, fadeaway tip by Johnson on the block. Rebound of Van Komen rising up and putting it in.
Rising up, reaching up.
I guess, yeah.
And they're doing this. They're up 12, but their leading scorer is on a goose egg right now. That's really impressive.
It is impressive. Haven't heard much from Melo Sanchez tonight. Vikings miss on that one.
He's 0 of 7.
Wow.
And the Vikings are going to make wholesale changes here. 3 subs coming in at the next dead ball. See if they can get some energy.
Here are the Sharks now from 3. Sanchez, no good on it, struggling. Cold here on the road. Johnson for the Vikings, moving, gives it back out. Will Wilson, top of the key, 3, rims out, rebounded by Nusalu. And they will hold on to it and go slow on offense once again. Nusalu with that board. Nusalu in the corner with 15 on the shot clock. Wimbush gets the screen. Van Komen on a roll, working on Welp. Wimbush spinning around. 12-point lead for the Sharks. Down low, working on KJ. Dushanic up and too short on it. Rebound by Kai Johnson. Bounce pass up to Gary. Gary working up, moving it over to Wilson.
On the pass, they're going to call a block.
So there's going to be a foul on the floor, and as a result, we get sent to our media timeout here in the second half. Vikings trailing 12 when we come back after this one on Vikings TV.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
Welcome back to the second half here where Hawai'i Pacific has been good, but look at the defense here. Kai Johnson gets a piece of it, but Vikings cannot handle the height of Van Komen in the second half, coming alive a little bit more after being held quiet in the first.
Yeah, he's up to 9 points now, 6 rebounds, a game high.
Out of the media timeout, it will be the Vikings ball on the baseline.
He does some interesting things, too, in terms of you see a drive. He's looking to seal people off so that the help can't come. We've been seeing that 3 or 4 times tonight.
This inbound off a transition foul. Ned in the corner, no good. Liam Clark out there fighting for an offensive board onto the ground, holding it. With Dushanic and a jump ball. We'll give the Vikings the ball back on the sideline.
Triggered in right in front of us here. Matt Mason, a veteran GNAC official. There's a lot of work in the Big Sky as well.
So we have a court check here, make sure we're not too wet after the bodies were on the floor. They just had the timeout, had a chance to lose the sweat, so. Ned to inbound in the corner. Clark driving for the Vikings on his left hand, up with the left end, no good off the left side. Vikings down by 12. Sharks holding on to the biggest lead in this game that they have had. The Vikings have not led all night. Tijan Sane out for the Vikings on the perimeter with the defense on Winbush. Winbush draining this shot clock, now down to 10 seconds. Loses his dribble, over to Mello. Mello step back three-pointer, got it.
Wow. You're 0 of 9, you're 0 of 5 from 3, and you pull up a step back and finish it.
Vikings in transition, a good finish for Jonathan Ned. 12 points for him now, but the Vikings still trailing big.
Biggest thing here is Western has to get a couple stops. Hawai'i Pacific 7 of 12 in the half and hasn't turned the ball over.
Continuing their great offensive output. Sanchez from deep again, back-to-back threes.
Yeah, he's averaging 16 and a half a game in their first 2 games. He wasn't going to stay quiet all night.
Exactly as you said earlier, he hadn't scored in that first half, and now coming alive, their top scorer on the year. Morrow with a handoff, Wilson into the mid-range. Wilson stops, gets it tipped loose, and out of bounds. Vikings will keep it. So in comes Kai Johnson for the Vikings. Kai Johnson tonight, 10 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist with 2 blocks. 3 personal fouls has made him see limited time. 13 on the shot clock for the Vikes. Johnson inbounding. Got to get it to someone, has to throw it far. Wilson rises up, hits it hard. Uh-oh. Wilson seemed to be all right after a tough fall onto the hardwood.
Yeah, Winbush got underneath him just a little bit. Took away his balance. Get a look at it here. Just that slid underneath him just enough that took his equilibrium away. Nick Velp back in for Jonathan Ned. The Vikings continue to search for a combination that can spring them to life here. And this lead just kind of keeps gradually pushing out. It's up to 16 now after the back-to-back threes by Melo Sanchez.
Vikings have made 1 of their last 7 field goals. Tijan Sane to the right side for the Vikings with 15 on the shot clock. In need of a basket here to try and get things rolling in the second half. Sane with a crossover, guarded by Winbush. Drives to his right, kicks it out. Morrow's going to try a 3-point shot. He's short on it. Tipped around down low. Sanchez secures it. Double team from the Vikings. Sanchez breaks through. Numbers advantage. 3 Vikings are trailing there. Terrell from downtown. Too short. Rebounded by Johnson. Johnson with a head fake and now pushes it up quickly for the Vikings. Velp has it in the high post without a dribble. Johnson will reset for the Vikings. Guy Johnson getting to the left side. Double team on him. Bump fake outside. Nick Velp, 3-point jump shot. No good. Rebound Tyrese Terrell.
Vikings just 3 of 11 this half and 0 for 6 from 3.
Now for the game, shooting 30% from downtown. Vikings have been hot from downtown all season as there's a basket inside by Dushanic.
He's up to.
Vikings inside, put back from Nick Velp. Velp now up to 7. His first baskets of the second half.
Yeah, since very early after he got into foul trouble.
Exactly. Winbush outside. Lead is now up to 16 for the Sharks. Inside kick out. Dushanic has the driving kick. Good ball movement. Sanchez in the corner is too short. Velp with a defensive rebound. Sane dribbles it down on the left side, guarded by Mello. Approaching 12 minutes left in the second half. Vikings need something, and they need something quick, and not that a turnover. Terrell in transition, rising up with a left hand, and a foul is called. I think they might have got Velp.
Tyrese Terrell just read the handoff, stepped in front of it, took off the other direction.
An interception going back the other way. Tried to convert, and a foul here. Nick Velp just getting him with the body. Tried to not even contest, but.
Yeah, he did end up with the hip check, so to speak.
Good awareness by Tyrese Terrell as well to get into the contact, especially with Velp now having 3 personals on him, as Jonathan Ned will check in for Isaac Morrow.
From Slidell, Louisiana, not too far from New Orleans. Played in Nicholls State, as you said, which is also in the state of Louisiana. I want to say the Southland Conference.
You'd know better than me.
I know there's a couple people listening who are going to correct me if I'm wrong on that one, so I will get texts.
Terrell nails the free throw there. Now for Tyrese Terrell, in all 31 games last season for Nicholls State, he started in 4 of them. Didn't get many minutes, just barely over 8 per game, but shot at 37% from downtown for the Division I school. 18-point lead for the Sharks. Johnson inside, tries to get it to the cutting Ned. Fought for, Ing looking to it for a steal, and he gets it. Cordell Ing with a steal. And Sharks once again will slow down instead of taking the transition.
Weird night for the Vikings. Come in averaging 87, and you just can't seem to get anything going offensively tonight.
Outside Ing. Cordell Ing breaks the defense into the paint, gives it out Sanchez. Sanchez working on Velp. He'll try from the corner. Too short on the 3-point attempt. Rebounded by Dushanic on the offensive glass. Sanchez trapped in the corner, has to give it outside to Ing. Cordell Ing drives in, beats the defense in, up for the layup and good. 20-point lead now for the Sharks as they're spoiling the Vikings home opener. Johnson inside, gets the foul, and he'll go to the line. It's been an odd game here. Vikings in the preseason poll were picked to finish 4th, and that's higher than Alaska Anchorage and Fairbanks. Hawai'i Pacific loses those 2 teams, and now, who knows? We'll be right back. Media timeout on the floor on Vikings TV.
Hawai'i Pacific on a 20-4 run, aided by the sudden heat of Melo Sanchez after starting 0 for 9, hits back-to-back threes, and all of a sudden it's a 67-47 game.
The three-point ball has been key to the Sharks' success, shooting 41%, 7 for 17. They came into this shooting just barely over 26%, so it's kind of flipped the script. The Vikings have been shooting it well. Sharks haven't, and it's the complete opposite.
Well, and Western has just gone completely cold here in the second half. 4 of 13 from the field, 0 of 6 from the line. And I kind of wondered maybe if Western might look at some pressure here. Now we see a trap. See if they can get some energy out of this. Speed up the game a little bit.
It's what's worked for them in transition. Maybe if they start putting the pressure on defense, forcing the Sharks to speed it up, which they haven't wanted to all night, they could find some success. Sanchez inside through the contact. Oh my goodness. How does that roll in?
Making up for lost time here. A quick 8 points.
And a foul on the drive from Jonathan Ned.
So I think pressure will help the Vikings get back in again. The problem is you've got to score to initiate that pressure. It's really hard to try to scramble off a rebound and press.
And so far they have not scored it well in the second half. Sane from way downtown, no good. Gary fighting for a rebound out of bounds. Vikings turn it over.
Nice effort by Darius Gary, even to no avail. Again, the dead ball does allow you, and in a corner no less. You can't run the baseline. Gives you a good opportunity to press here.
Nusulu to inbound. Looking for a teammate, has to loft it over. Taft secures it. Vikings looking to trap with a double team. Good speed by Cordell Ing to get through. Shane is guarding him on the perimeter. Melo Sanchez on the outside. Now it's one-on-one with Kai Johnson. Fake screen, switch on. Mid-range, Nusulu, got it.
We talked about Will Wilson. We should talk about Josh Nusulu. He's got the mid-ranger too, doesn't he?
He does, and tonight he has been making it well. 14 points for him now. Velp for three. No good, too short. Jonathan Ned, rebound in the mid-range, kicks it. Onto the outside, Kai Johnson going to try a three-pointer, and he got it.
Probably the toughest one they've tried this half, but it went in.
So somehow the most contested shot goes in when they're taking open threes. They don't go in. Kai Johnson finds success, and he puts in the first three-pointer for him in this game. Johnson up to 14 now for the Vikings. Vikings down 20. Sanchez to answer.
Well, we understand why he's their leading returning scorer, and he's averaging 16 and a half. We didn't see it for about 25 minutes. We've seen it in the last 4.
Made 74 three-pointers last year.
Right, he shot, as he said, 46%, over 40%, 6% for three.
Sane inside, tough finish. Tijon Sane with his second basket.
And I think you almost have to start extending here.
Sanchez ball handling with a spin move. Driving inside, another spin move. Other side, good dish in low. Double team down there. Ing with a fake. Sanchez corner. Thought about it, pulls up mid-range instead. Rolls around, no good. Rebounded by Velp. Vikings in transition, Sane going to give it to Jonathan Ned. Ned on the outside. Velp thought about a three in rhythm, but the Vikings will settle for an offensive possession. Johnson inside, contact, no call, and no basket for him. Cordell Ing dribbling it down tonight, 4 points for him. An assist and a steal. That one goes out of bounds. It'll stay to the Sharks as Will Wilson checks in for the Vikings. Matt Van Komen back on for the Sharks, as well as Mai Deshunich. Melo Sanchez will come off. Darius Gary is off for the Vikings, as well as Nick Velp. Inbounded to Piggy Winbush. Winbush 15 points, leads the game in that category. Pick and roll right there, but a bad pass. Sanchez upset about it. He was wide open. Van Komen had a perfect lane to the basket.
Didn't quite connect, or that's an easy bucket.
Sanchez was furious about the missed attempt. Vikings down 21. Tijon Sane out there. Vikings will run some handoffs on the perimeter. Get the movement going. Tijon Sane, good behind the back. Into the mid-range, puts it over the 7-4. He's denied.
No, he didn't put it over.
He tried to.
He tried.
He tried. 5'11 versus 7'4. I think you know how that story is going to be told.
And then throw in the reach, too.
Exactly. Melo Sanchez lost it.
Is that not the same thing that happened to Velp earlier?
Nick Velp, it looked like it.
It wasn't as obvious, but it did look to be the same.
High post, Sanchez inside. Wilson is there, finishes through the contact. Melo Sanchez on fire in the second half. Wonder if he switched shoes at halftime.
Oh, he missed his first three in the second half, so.
Just took a second to get him broken.
There you go.
Vikings turn it over on the pass from Jonathan Ned off the hands of Will Wilson, and it is falling apart for the Vikings here. Timeout on the floor, 23-point deficit for the Vikings when we come back.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
The Teaching and Learning Academy is an organization that's housed in the library, and it's where people come to have conversations.
They deal with serious issues that have emotional impact in ways that are typically not found in a class.
We've talked about diversity and inclusivity on our campus and in our community.
It not only enriches my education, but also impacts the ways that I can continue my leadership roles.
Welcome back. You see the Hawai'i Pacific bench, and one of their star players tonight has been Maya Dusanich, who is Slovenian. And we mentioned earlier there are a number of Slovenians who have played in the NBA and in other places. Dusanich had 12.6 rebounds, 5 assists tonight. So Luka Doncic is the obvious one.
Obvious answer.
But my favorite one would be Goran Dragic.
You stole my two.
Suns. Oh, man. But there's some others. Teo Albegovic played for Oregon State. Marko Milicic. Who's the center I'm thinking of? Come on, help me out here. Rasim Nesterovic.
No clue.
Oh, come on. That's a classic one.
I'm a casual when it comes to Slovakian basketball, I guess.
And Goran's brother, Zoran, who played a couple years in the NBA as well. So one in a long line, a great basketball tradition in Slovenia and the Balkans all around.
Liam Clark tipped that pass, but Winbush gets it back. Sharks on possession here out of the timeout. Up 23 points here, running away with it. We said at the break at least that we didn't see as there's a good block by Ned as it goes out of bounds. We said we didn't think either one of these teams would pull away, but just like that, some hot shooting, even better shooting than the first half from Hawai'i Pacific, and all of a sudden it's a 23-point deficit.
We'll finish our story really quick. Sasa Vujacic, who played with the Lakers and a few other places, and if I remember right, he and Goran Dragic wouldn't talk to each other to the point that they wouldn't play on the national team together for a while.
I wonder what the thought process was there. That one tipped out of bounds on the miss from Van Komen. Vikings will get possession. 6:48 left on the game clock for the Vikings here in the home opener. A rough start to the home season after being 4-1 on the road. Vikings have a good handful of time before we see any GNAC play. They'll play one game before we have the winter break here if you're a Western student. But January is when the real GNAC games will start playing. Vikings turn it over on a ball handling issue by Will Wilson, and now Winbush will dribble it up, guarded by Wilson. Dusanich gives it over. Now here is Taff. That one tipped loose. Vikings in transition. Isaac Morrow pushing the pace, showing the speed, and showing the left-handed layup.
Let's see if the Vikings will extend.
Isaac Morrow off the bench finishing there. Taff will dribble it down for the Sharks. And a team timeout called on the floor. We'll keep things here. So later this week, if you are just a Vikings fan, I guess, sports-wise, we've got some action going on here at home on Vikings TV. You'll be seeing the volleyball team take on Northwest Nazarene, 7 p.m. on Thursday. The women's volleyball team finishing up their season, as well as having that game on Saturday, the rivalry against Central Washington. That'll also be here, Vikings TV. Me and Adam Race will be here on the call for those two games to finish off the volleyball season. And then it'll be all women's and men's basketball. Following Thanksgiving, we have the Linda Goodrich Classic here for women's basketball. Of course, me and Butch and Adam just finished up with the Veterans Day Classic, and now we got another classic. I think everything's a classic these days.
Everything's a classic. It's classic, as Tony Kornheiser used to say. So that quick timeout, trying to stifle any momentum that the Vikings might have had.
They're still up by 21, so I'm not sure where we found.
It's better to do it too soon than too late, though,
That's
right?
true. That's true.
Suddenly it's down to 15, and the crowd's into it.
So some discussion here as Liam Clark tipped it out of bounds. And inbounding Maya Dusanich as we get it settled here. Some questions coming from the Viking side on the confusion. Dusanich inbounds to Terrell, and a foul called on Will Wilson for a push. Vikings looking for some energy to just take away out of this one at this point.
The second foul on Will Wilson.
Wilson tonight has been good on offense, double figures, 4 rebounds as well. Biggie Winbush on the outside, guarded by Wilson. Splits the defense between Ned and Wilson. Down low, Van Komen, guarded by Clark. Komen with the left, dishes it back out. Three-point jump shot off a deflection, I believe.
Yeah, I think Isaac Morrow got a piece of that.
I would hope so. Wilson driving in on Dushanic, spins and fades away with the right, just missed on it. Morrow falls to the ground for the Vikings.
And he's turned an ankle.
Uh-oh. Morrow is shaking up, holding his left ankle after coming down rough, trying to fight for a rebound for a Vikings team. I mean, we talked earlier, you have a lot of size off the bench, but if they keep getting pushed out, it's rough. Of course, we hope Morrow is going to be fine to go, a couple games ahead for the Vikings.
Here we get a look and see what happened. Oh,
it's that
just
back foot.
Yeah, instead of landing on the sole, he landed with almost the toes hitting the floor first.
So the Vikings tonight without B.J. Colley with the sickness. Jenko Drama also out as well. He's 7-foot center. Isaac Morrow will limp off. Vikings are left with big men Nick Velp, Liam Clark. Guess you could throw Louis Grant Holiday, 6'7" in there, forward, deep forward down there.
They're going to go with Jordan Tate, actually, here.
So Jordan Tate comes in, redshirt freshman out of Kirkland. Vikings up next for them will be Friday, this Friday, 5 p.m. They travel down to Seattle for the GNAC/Pac West Challenge. See, there's not a classic, that's a challenge.
That's a challenge.
Good on SPU to switch it up.
We challenged them to find something that wasn't a classic, right?
And they found it. Vikings will take on
trap.
Concordia. Kai Johnson tips it loose, gets a steal. Jonathan Ned handles it. Now in transition up to Clark, and he can't handle it. Out of bounds.
Even when something seems to go right, it just doesn't quite come off. A great trap. A nice steal by Kai Johnson. And perfect look ahead. Just comes off the hands of Liam Clark.
Something I did learn being friends with Liam Clark for a little bit. Very funny guy, very casual, but he gets competitive. He gets mad when he's turning something over. Johnson's holding his eye on the ground. Might have got a finger or a hand into it.
Yeah, I think Wimbush might have caught him. I don't think there's any intent. He was trying to dribble the ball, but
I don't think so either.
Definitely caught one in the eye. I suspect they will look at it, and we'll find out what the ruling is. And they are sending teams to the benches.
So they're going to check this out. So the Vikings, as I mentioned, Friday against Concordia. And then the day right after that, Saturday, they'll take on Azusa Pacific at 5 p.m. in Seattle. You can catch the webcast on the Seattle Pacific YouTube channel there. We'll see the Vikings here at home again November 25th at 1 p.m. here on the WECU Court.
It's right after Thanksgiving, and I think there is you've already noted the
Classic.
Classic.
Yes, we'll have that day, the 25th. A lot of basketball. 3 games here on Vikings TV.
A full triple header. Are we working every game?
I don't know. We might be.
We might be.
We've got Adam. We'll have some rotation.
Yep.
We'll get some extra breath, you know. Our throats won't be gone.
5 games in 2 days.
It's going to be fun.
MSU Moorhead. Hawai'i Pacific.
So it looks like don't have an official ruling. The team started to come back up, but they're sending them back, actually. So it's going to take a even deeper dive into this one.
Well, as long as we got a moment here, Ethan Taft for Hawai'i Pacific is from Brisbane. And there is a Western connection to Brisbane, Australia. There's a player in the 70s named Ron Ratliff, who then went to Australia, a little about a 6-foot guard, then went to Australia, played about a dozen years in the top league, the NBL over there, a double-figure scorer for his career, a couple championships, and Ron Ratliff played most of his career with the Brisbane Bullets as they were then. A couple years in Gold Coast, just very short drive from Brisbane. So they came over on a preseason tour one year in about 1989 and played us, and we had a good team that year, and Ron Ratliff ended up basically taking over the game in the last 10 minutes. So
seems right. Seems like you would.
The Rat, as they called him.
So yeah, you can see on the replay, just
caught him with the trail hand.
Swiped it behind.
No intent there at all.
maybe the intent was to try and swap away a hand that was coming to steal the ball, but instead ends up connecting. So now Hawai'i Pacific.
No malice, we should say, perhaps?
Yeah, no intent. Kai Johnson steals it. Once again, another steal for him, and he's pushing in the transition. His eye seems fine, and they're going to get a block on the drive. Mladishenich tried to take a charge. Kai Johnson will go to the line for the 7th and 8th time tonight.
See it again. Kai Johnson in full acceleration here, and no, Dusnich isn't close there. He hasn't gotten set, doesn't get the chest there. Sometimes those look like tough calls, and you see them in replay and think, oh, it
seems a little bit more obvious than you think.
Yeah, it was more obvious than we maybe initially thought.
So Kai Johnson, the leading scorer for the Vikings tonight, leading scorer on the season.
Yeah, he's up to 15 points now.
Continuing a nice start to his year. This past week, which earned him GNAC Player of the Week, he was averaging 24 points, 5 rebounds, and a steal and a half while shooting 70% from the field. How about that?
That's not bad.
Vikings now down by 19 after the free throws from KJ. 4:30 left on the game clock. Sanchez. Melo Sanchez in the mid-range, kicks it outside. Winbush gets a screen. Guarded by Liam Clark. 5 on the shot clock. Puts it up with the right hand and bounces it out. Ned fighting for a rebound onto the side. And the shot clock went off, but it was obviously not supposed to. Kai Johnson inside, denied by Van Komen. He hits the deck.
Good block. Oh,
Kai Johnson pokes it from behind, steps back for a three-pointer. Got it.
Get your shot blocked. Get knocked down. And because you're knocked down, you're behind the play, you make a steal, dribble the corner, hit a three.
Some Jose Alvarado right there. So a timeout on the floor. Vikings trailing by 16. And we'll be right back.
Welcome back. Western Washington trailing Hawai'i Pacific 76-60 with 4 minutes and a second left. Then the Vikings are going to have to speed up the game here. Going to have some sort of full court pressure that has at least forces occasional turnovers, but maybe can speed up the deliberate pace that Hawai'i Pacific has played at tonight. Fast break points, 21-2 for Western tonight, but that's about the only category that they're really having an advantage in a significant way.
Vikings on a 7-0 run, which is great, but it's over the span of 3 minutes. You can't keep that up.
Yeah,
you only have 4:01 left.
I won't quite get it there, but it does at least indicate you turned the corner a little bit. One of the little things in this half that's been different, rebounding was pretty even in the first half. It was 18-17 Hawai'i Pacific, but they now have a 17-11 edge in this half. So.
Now, take me through this. Vikings hit a nice transition three off a steal. They're rolling. Why is Tony Dominguez called timeout?
Probably to set up pressure here.
Makes sense. Under 4 minutes now. Vikings showing the pressure. Sharks beat it through.
Keep in mind, we'll have another one after the 4-minute break here, so maybe you get your team an extended rest because they're going to have to do a lot of chasing over the next couple minutes.
Have to be going fast, too. Into the corner, three-pointer, no good off the back rim. Rebounded. Ned pushing now for the Vikings. Moving back and forth. Dishes it out. Will Wilson. Wilson to his right. Into the mid-range. Kicks corner. Jordan Tate. Jab step. Three-pointer. Too long on it. Rebounded by Winbush. Winbush pushing through the contact. Beats the press. With 22 on the shot clock, and that's going to be a foul on Wilson. Personal foul number 3 on Will Wilson. And with 3:19, this will be a media timeout, I believe. No, it is still live.
Oh, because the timeout was called
under
just before the 4-minute mark, they do kill it.
So it counted towards it. Okay. Tony Dominguez screaming at Jordan Tate to come get subbed out as Liam Clark is back on. Tyrese Terrell hands it over, and now Winbush at the top. Guarded by Wilson, and another personal foul on Will Wilson, trying to poke it loose.
So that's going to be the fourth. The fourth foul on Will Wilson.
And when you need points and you need them quick, one of your best scorers on the floor, pure scorers, in foul trouble, not a good idea.
At this point, I don't think he's coming out.
No, not at all. You're risking it at this point. You need him more on offense than you can risk on defense.
Yeah, maybe when you get to the end and you can, alternate on subs and fouls and things, but not yet.
Terrell, step through, no good. Rebounded by Wilson. Under 3 minutes now for the Vikings. Gonna need a miracle comeback, down 16. Wilson behind the back, and he loses it onto the floor. And that's a 2-on-1 fast break now. Winbush into Johnson, up, and a charge is called. Dipping the shoulder, maybe?
Yeah, Kai Johnson got there, and even though he wasn't what you'd think of as square, he was in a legal guarding position, and Winbush dipped the shoulder. Yeah, I mean, even though he's not square up the floor, he is square to the ball handler.
Johnson
that is
did
a charge.
Johnson had a nice sell on it, too.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to believe that Kai Johnson's a little stronger than that. He's big.
You can't fake, but you're under no obligation to try and keep yourself up once
There you go.
been hit.
That's true. Not a flop, just accepting the contact.
There you go.
Johnson gets fouled on an attempt, and he'll go to the line. Johnson's done a good job getting to the free throw line. These will be number 9 and 10. Vikings have 10 free throws up to this point as a team. Johnson, 8 of them. Only other person that's been to the free throw line is Will Wilson. Kai Johnson now up to 20 points after that free throw.
So right near his average of 20.4, and he can exceed it if he makes the second one, and then you also make the second one. It enables you to set up that pressure as well. You're going to need a couple turnovers. You're not going to get in within 15 if they're getting shots every time down the floor and working clock.
Johnson misses the second free throw. Vikings will need some defense here. Kai Johnson pressing. He has 3 steals tonight and 2 blocks. Tijan Sane guarding, and a foul is called on Sane.
And, Isaac Morrow has come out crutches with the ankle wrapped in ice.
Not a great sign for the Vikings, but here's Melo Sanchez for the Sharks. With 15 on the shot clock, Hawai'i Pacific just looking. A trimmed down clock every possession now. Ned trying to force a turnover, Winbush, and they're going to call a travel. Travel by Winbush, turns it over to the Vikings. They'll have a side out with 2:06, down 15.
Yeah, typically, basketball is a game of runs, but really, except for that one run in the second half that Hawai'i Pacific had, there weren't many. And,
No.
and Western never really had one in the second half. They had the 7-0, but never really got back where the momentum really kicked in.
Ned stepped through 3, got it for number 3 tonight for him. 15 points as well. 3 for 8 from downtown. Sanchez gets it up. Vikings down 12. Winbush handling. Tijan Sane providing pressure. Winbush driving in. Vikings trying to poke it loose. Winbush with the nice handles getting through the defense. Gives it out to Sunic, guarded by Velp. Sunic crosses over, gives out to Sanchez. Sanchez gets the screen to his left, driving, mid-range. Turns around, passes it into the corner. That's a 2-pointer and a long one. No, they call it a 3. Had his feet behind the line in the far corner, couldn't tell. He buries it.
In the deep corner.
Johnson for 3. These teams are just chucking them up at this point. You have end of the shot clock 3-pointer from Ethan Taff, and then Vikings come right back. Kai Johnson, 23 points now in the game. Timeout on the floor, but we keep things here. Johnson now up to 23 points, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks for him in 30 minutes of play. But Jonathan Ned as well, our 1-2 that we know, and they're making it due today. Ned with 15 and 6 rebounds, most by any Viking tied with Will Wilson.
The only other Viking in double figures is Will Wilson. He has 10 points to go with those 6 boards. And Vikings just haven't been able to find a whole lot from other people. 7 from Velp, 5 from Sane, 3 from Gary, 2 each from Clark and Morrow. But whereas at the other end, 4 players in double figures, another one on 9 for Hawai'i Pacific. So led by the 15 of Wimbush, who had a very good first half with 11. And then in the second half, it's been Sanchez who all 13 of his points after he was scoreless for somewhere around 25, 28 minutes tonight.
The Sharks' three-pointer on that last possession by Ethan Taff ended a 6-minute scoring deficit, yet the Vikings have only closed it to now 12 points. Vikings are technically on a 14-3 run, but over the 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's not quick enough. They finally gotten some defensive stops, but they just haven't done enough at the offensive end to overcome this gap.
Minute 10 on the game clock for the Vikes. It is Hawai'i Pacific ball. They inbound at Wimbush. Vikings are going to trap there with Clark and Sane. Clark is going to try and rip it through, and he stepped out. Good turnover for the Vikings. Clark got subbed on for defense, and now Velp will come subbing back out for offense. Gary will inbound. Vikings with a lot of shooters. Everyone could shoot a 3-ball out here for the Vikings.
See what you run here. Do you have some sort of maybe throw it in and kick it back to Darius Gary? The guy stepping in is always quite dangerous.
Diggy Wimbush gets called out. Sane on the outside gets a screen from Ned. High pressure being shown by the Sharks. Sane driving in, gets it tipped loose, gets it back. Sane kicks it into the corner to Velp. Vikings got to put up a quick shot. Kai Johnson from 3 off the front of the rim. Velp bobbles it into his own corner. Double team on him. Flips it far side to Gary. Gary inside, going to rise up and gets denied by his own rim. Gary falls down. And now Hawai'i Pacific in transition. And with no bucket there, Sharks on the outside, kind of looking like might be the end of it here for the Vikings. Sanchez gets fouled by Gary there, and Gary, I think, just fouling to get subbed out here. He was a little bit banged up after the drive. He tried to rise up for a poster, denied by the rim. They won't sub Gary out.
And now they will.
So Liam Clark will sub out Gary for the last 29 seconds. Terrell to inbound. And the Vikings are going to choose to play the foul game here. Send Hawai'i Pacific to the line 1-1. So far from the charity stripe, Hawai'i Pacific has struggled, 10 for 17, 58%. Will Wilson comes on.
It's kind of been the only area where they've struggled tonight. And they've taken pretty good care of the ball, only 11 turnovers, or an edge in rebounds. Shot very well from the field from 3, although less so here in the last few minutes. Yeah, just 10 of 17 from the line.
Josh Nisulu at the line. Makes the first of the 1-on-1, so they'll come back for number 2.
He's had a solid night, 15 points.
Hawai'i Pacific coming into this game, 57 points per game. They're at 81 now.
It's kind of interesting now that all but 9 of the 10 guys who have played for them have shot free throws tonight.
Johnson airballs the 3.
For Western, only 2 have shot them.
It's been a odd game script for the Vikings in this one, just not in their favor. Seems like everything they've done well this season got turned on its head. And they've been receiving the treatment that they have been giving teams all season. It's just
right.
Vikings had some really good wins up in Canada. Went 2-for-1 up there at the Canadian Tip-Off Classic. There's a slam dunk right there by Mai Dustinich. 12 seconds left for the Vikings. So Jonathan Ned dribbles it down. We have a foul here. Vikings coming off 2 straight wins at the West Region crossover. I'm just going to stop saying classic at the end of these things. They beat Cal State Dominguez Hills 81-58 and Cal Poly Humboldt 95-69 as Jonathan Ned goes to the free throw line for a 1-on-1. Misses it. Rebounded by Sanchez, and looking like that's going to be the game here. Vikings are going to pick up their second loss of the season, 83-67. The first loss for Hawai'i Pacific. What do you got, Butch?
Wow, a surprise. You know, Western comes in 4-1. Hawai'i Pacific comes in 0-2. And hey, a full credit to the Sharks.
Oh, yeah.
An 83-67 victory. Very balanced attack tonight. Four guys in double figures, led by the 16 in Nisulu, 15 for Wimbush. Dusanich with 14 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. A great night there. And then Sanchez, all 13 of his points in the second half. He also had 7 boards. For Western, a good night for Kai Johnson, 23 points, 15 for John Ned, 10 for Will Wilson. Just didn't get enough support tonight. The Vikings shooting under 40% from the field, 39.3%.
Men's basketball will be back in action on the 25th against Douglas College, 1 p.m. here on Vikings TV. But if you're a Western Washington fan, we'll see you all on Thursday for some women's volleyball. Thank you, and have a good night. Go Vikes!